It was an enemy you could not see, a terror that traveled silently on ships and trade routes. It killed with horrifying speed, emptying villages and cities in a matter of weeks. In just 5 years, it would wipe out half the population of Europe. This was not a war. It was a reckoning. This is the story of the deadliest plague in human history. This is the full story of the Black Death. The story begins with the Mongol Empire. Their Pax Mongolica had made the Silk Road safer than ever, connecting east and west. But this great highway carried more than just silk and spices. It carried a deadly bacteria, Yersinia pestis, hidden in the blood of fleas that lived on the black rat. The plague erupted in Asia in the 1330s and traveled west with the trade caravans. In 1346, the Mongols besieging the Genoese port of Kaffa in the Crimea used a terrifying new weapon. They catapulted plague-infested corpses over the city walls. When the Genoese sailors fled, they took the plague with them, sailing to the ports of Italy. The Black Death had arrived in Europe. The disease spread with terrifying speed and horrifying symptoms. Swollen black boils called buboes appeared on the body, followed by fever, vomiting, and almost certain death. No one understood what caused it. Doctors were powerless. People believed it was a punishment from God or a poison in the air called a miasma. Society collapsed. Parents abandoned their children. Priests refused to give last rites. The living were too terrified to bury the dead, and mass graves were dug across the continent. In their terror, some turned to extreme piety, becoming flagellants who whipped themselves in public, hoping to atone for humanity's sins. It was the end of the world as they knew it. By 1351, the first and deadliest wave was over. As many as 200 million people were dead across Eurasia. But the cataclysm that destroyed the old world accidentally created a new one. With up to half the population gone, the world was turned upside down. There was a massive labor shortage. For the first time, peasants could demand wages and freedom, shattering the foundations of the feudal system. The authority of the church, which had been powerless to stop the plague, was severely weakened. The psychological shock of the Great Dying forced people to question their old beliefs and traditions, paving the way for a cultural and intellectual rebirth. The Black Death was a horrifying tragedy, the greatest mortality event in recorded history. It was a filter that pushed humanity to its absolute limit. But the survivors inherited a different world, one where the old rules no longer applied. The collapse of the old medieval order created a vacuum, a space for new ideas, new art, and a new way of looking at the world. The stage was now set for the rediscovery of the ancient past and a brilliant explosion of creativity. The stage was set for the Renaissance,